All blessings to all of you. May you all continue to be happy in the Dhamma, purify your minds, hopefully in the coming times, that you protect what you have sown already here and continue. You see a very big contrast, like two worlds when you go back. Yes, some people who have gone and come, it's a different thing, little bit. Who have stayed here completely, it will create a certain kind of, but that will be the thing that will start your journey, because you can see we all want to become happy, we want to progress. So if we taste another higher state of life, a more enlightened life, then surely we will go towards that. Maybe a matter of time, but we'll be really working for towards that. So normally I don't meet now because I have nothing to do with you all. But anyway, here I'm also staying here, so that's good. Been good for me. Actually, I'm thinking these retreats are going to be very good for me. If it's like here, not in Sri Lanka, because I don't want to be in that monastery because it has some link with some little involvement of me, with that's been offered to me. So when I accepted the monastery, the way I said, some of my brother monks told, Bante, uh, you didn't actually accept the monastery, but you didn't also give it to anybody. Like that. That's how, yes, true. Because I'm trying. This is my goal to remove my attachments and make others' attachments also go away. I mean, that's what I'm trying. So definitely with that idea, because in Sri Lanka and everywhere, people, the clingy nature, to things. So it goes even to spiritual material things, the supportive things like the dwelling, the places, and sometimes suddenly one begin to like feel, oh, one is like owning that place, and this is natural. But all good people come to me. There are a lot of good people. I mean, I don't think anyone really this thing can stay long there. So, but I hope all together, like one family, could go towards Nibbana. Should happen. And did you all finish, or did you manage to read a bit today morning also and continue be alone? I don't know. Make use of these opportunities. So it's very little time now. You can little relax. Relax means this is relaxing. What to do? What can you relax with? Keep on reading, letting go. So anything you want to ask now? Anything, some doubt or anything? You were talking about yesterday about this Ganges thing. What Buddha was talking about from top to where it ends the river and the eons, right? That is you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that is the eons. That how many eons have passed? That it is more than the sand. Like so many sand. That shows like such a cosmic period. You understand? It's a cosmic period. So but that gives you an idea to just feel fed up of this, again and again being, and I mean, this is the main reason. And and yen is also not countable. The yen is like told like a huge granite, not a granite, it's like a huge rock, measured in yojans, and where a silk cloth, so a silk cloth is so soft. Once in 100 years, someone comes and touches it, and the time it takes for. So that is interesting. It's a long scale, and actually we are trying to put into our measurement. So he's actually, even this impermanent experience is based on that such a long period of reality that was going on, the life again and again. He's trying to find a solution, not trying to find, he has found the solution. So what is the problem in that explanation? I don't know. I don't see. Nothing, huh? No, no, no. This one, the Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because not line means like you have the Big Bang theory. I don't know, the how the universe started and all that. With the what, carbon dating and all that. Or I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know. Correct, correct, correct. But you can't rely on that. Like it's a very our faculty to know more far past, and it's so limited, so limited. So so limited unless you're so sort of rooted in that then it might and take it as gospel truth too. I mean it's scientifically means um, recently I have not been in this line of thought for many years, but as a young boy I was very you know uh, with that I used to go on, but now it's beyond for me that this thing to I don't need any verification from mm, even theory of relativity. I can see, it just is that part only, but the existence of other planes and all that it can't go on, and so we are going to die without knowing anything really, like and especially regarding karma, if karma is not known, and while we are now here, maybe we'll be in one of those laboratories as a ghost. So so best thing is to strengthen our instrument of like our being, making our mind steady and more stronger in our ability to concentrate and get more intuition. And I think that will get us really ahead, rather than remaining ourselves very worldly, and then worldly means involved with the senses a lot. That is a good challenge, I think. While we have strength to the safe side and make it a personal experience of ours, something, and we can verify with a more sharper mind. Sharper means a wise mind, mm, rather than an intelligent mind or a intellectual mind. What we are trained now in the modern times. As I told you, I don't know whether you all heard that if there's next birth or if I reborn next birth, what I fear most is going to these schools again. I hope by that time you all create some good school here. I mean, teacher. Anybody? Yeah? Sorry. Yeah. That's in the word of the Buddha or what? Or just the Ganaka Mukha?
The gradual training.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I was curious to know your thoughts on why mindfulness is so far down the list and why it's not earlier, because I would have thought that, restraining of the senses, etc., you need mindfulness to practice that.
They all go together. Actually, it's like the same, like the conditionality this gentleman asked also. It's not like linear, like they are, when you have to write or speak, you have to, write it in a certain order. But when they are applied, they are actually working together. You don't have sense restraint without some level of mindfulness. It's there actually. So, but what is that order again?
Testing my memory now. The first one was establishing virtue.
Mhm.
The second one was, I think, help me if I'm wrong, restraint in eating.
Wait a minute, let's see. Which one? The Ganaka Mukalan? Or what is the name of the sutta?
To the page. Oh, sorry, Bante. I was reading it and now I've lost it.
Wait, I think maybe you're talking about this. This in the small book, is it 85? This the gradual development of the Eightfold Path in the progress of a disciple. It's a nice summary also. Very
Okay.
nice. You have the
Is it?
small book? It's a nice
I
one.
think the order will be the same. Doesn't matter where. What page?
85 page.
85. 85.
have control of the senses. Yeah, you're talking about this, I
Yeah.
guess. This one, right?
Uh,
In
no,
the
that's the
small book?
development of the Eightfold Path, isn't it? I was
No,
talking about
85, page 85.
in the small book.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
To
that's
the end. To the end, you
which
have like a
development of the Eightfold
summary
Path.
of the practice.
Yeah, that's the development of the Eightfold Path. He was talking about the gradual training of bhikkhus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one you're talking about the mindfulness is there in every aspect of your, you can't have mind without mindfulness, faith, or any faculty working properly.
Ah, yeah, that's the one. There's two. mm, Yeah, page 286.
286.
Mm.
That's
He
Ganaka
was
Mukhalana, right?
yeah, he was explaining to someone. I think he used the simile of like an accountant
Yeah,
learns how
yeah,
to
yeah.
count, and then
Gradually, yeah.
yeah. So what's the training that bhikkhus
Mhm.
undertake?
Yeah, right. So
Mm,
here, this is very important. This is what I just generally tell you to not to look at things around and not to recognize is one part of sense control.
mm,
Okay, and then to be in the present moment, and when you're walking, just to pay attention to what you're immediately seeing. You remind again and again. As that's a part of mindfulness. But here, mindfulness, iriyapate. Iriyapate means your let's see, graduate training, graduate practice. Okay. Bhikkhus virtue, seeing fear in the slightest fault, and from bhikkhus and those of the sense faculties. Okay, seeing form, eyes do not grasp it. It's very important sutta for your as a permanent practice daily,
mm,
as your normal life. Since if you were to leave the eye faculty unguarded, evil, unwholesome. Okay, that one. Don't take details. Once I passed in the deep forest. Before I was going more deeper, one place I passed a very that Jnana Deepa Bante's hut. You know, I was so not looking anywhere, and he joked later when I met him. Sometimes you must be you must be not so much sense restraint. He told me like this, and then because I passed his pathway also because I was going like this so much. And actually, he was so nice that time. He gave me to. He said he got lost going through that place, and he saw my too much inspiration or over confidence or what. So he said, "Okay, once in a while adventure." He said. Then only I was met by robbers, and I looked after, and some other things happened. So many in that trip. It was cutting across dense forest. No, those days I had no, like compass and all these things. Some people invited me, some young monks, Swami Bante can, we like. I don't mind going. Really, I really like. Mm, but I'm not into that kind of adventure thing now. I'm more into even not those days. I was trying out my monk's life, whatever. Do not grasp petty signs. Okay, when bhikkhus, the doors of the sense faculties in the Tathagata disciplines for the come here, bhikkhus are moderate in eating. Okay. Bhikkhus are moderate in eating, then the Tathagata disciple. Come bhikkhu devote to wakefulness during day while walking. It's all clear, no? Wakefulness means you walk, like, you make wholesome states of mind, and then, like in the night also, you don't just sleep when you're feeling sleepy. You try to meditate, you have good states of mind, maybe chant spirit, or, go up and down and get strong mind, then consciously sleep. This is how you should do. When you get up, also, you clean your mind with unwholesome. Unwholesome is like sleepiness or any other thought. And then, so these are practices to be done. From Bhikkhu process of mindfulness. This is very important. Full awareness, acting full awareness when going forward, returning act. It's called Iriya Pate actually, not. Um, this one is actually when you go to the toilet or going having a bath or anything, in all postures, in all activities, you must try to pay attention. like you're looking from outside. Always I've been telling this, like how you're getting up, how you are walking, this body is walking. And this kind of, especially in the toilet, say, you can notice, your what you're doing, not to be daydreaming, but paying attention to what. And when you're eating, when you're going, turning around like this. So you have to remind yourself, it won't come naturally, again and again. So it's a different, this will help your samadhi, this will help you to get more samadhi, because it's not suddenly you go and sit down. No, you have worked for it.
One of the explanations of why so meditation is lower down the list than sense restraint and virtue.
Meditation means mindfulness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's about establishing a blameless mind.
Establishing
A blameless
blameless mind
mind. Yeah,
initially,
yeah, yeah,
with morality and all that.
yeah, yeah. So you've got nothing to regret or ponder over as you sit down to meditate because you've been blameless in your
Deeds and
behavior and
works. Yeah, yeah,
thinking.
that's right. That's right. You don't have nothing to regret. You don't try to suppress something. You have no bad
Mm,
memories. But this is very specific. It's actually not like mindfulness. It's a part of mindfulness, which is like in your iriya patemis, in your postures. Actually, this is very important. I think this is a must to be practiced if you want to be a yogi, get samadhi. And then only when you are what you have read now also, makes it can work, the like the khandas, salayatana, they are too when you are matured in that way. So now, like, you have a crash program, okay, of enlightenment. This is really a big crash program. But you are taking something, I know, because I don't think anyone will go through so many sutras like that, of that kind, of that highest kind, so you'll be taking something. And also seed is sown. Some, maybe you have some glimpses, some clarity, that is enough. That's the direction one day for you to get a full blast. But we don't know, even the possibility was given. If you have been practicing in the past life a lot and this is the time for you to get that, that was would have happened, who knows. So better to create the possibility and to create the opportunity to people. Happy for you. You look, yes.
Perhaps insight into clinging or attachment, even to unwholesome, uh, pleasant and unwholesome states of mind. Would you be able to? So this has increased for me during this retreat. Would you be able to talk about that, please?
About clinging to wholesome or unwholesome.
Both.
Both. uh, have you noticed that you have already noticed that you have been clinging or to some wholesome and unwholesome? When the clinging and arose, you have been aware that I have been clinging. That's good enough. That's good enough that you're already, like, aware of that, what you are doing, what is happening to you, um, like in thought form, or in what you have actually immediately seen, heard, as a sense experience, or some memory, or like memory, yeah. Yeah, that I can understand. Yeah, that's why I said this is a cleansing process. That you now, if you're busy, it's just covered inside. Now you are like you're in a vacuum, that's very important to happen. If it doesn't happen, that's why I told that this is a purification of your karma. Your karma is the memory, means that is the stored up things, that impressions come out. So they should come out, and then the opportunity is there for you to put the Dhamma there. And maybe one main thing is to see that it's not me, not I, these thoughts, not to take them seriously. And I know sometimes you might get, like, sometimes what you fear, you might get these thoughts. This is a very common thing. Like, I don't want to think of a bad thought of Bante, and the thought of a bad thought of Bante might come. You understand? That's a very common thing. It's a play of Mara. And maybe about the Buddha, when you're offering the Buddha this thing, you don't want to think, you suddenly think it's a very bad thing to think like this. And what you think like that, it happens to come. So this is a big, like, good to know. So I tell people also, this is Mara is trying to tell you this is a very big sin. very bad thing. So just take it. No, it's not like that. In thought, it's not like that. Just it's not mine also. Let it come. Be cool with it. This is also one aspect. So the all top types of things can come. That's good. And you replace it with the Dhamma thoughts and right idea and like this. You have cleansed it. You're cleaning it. You will not get that opportunity. This is the reason you come here and do this kind of thing. You're cleaning your sins actually in a way. Sins and all the things been overhauled and cleared. Yeah. And the very thing that you're able to come means that shows you have a lot of good karma behind you. So be positive. I know this. Others would have been stopped long time back and somewhere would have been just blocked. It happened. I'm sure it happened to many people.
We only think about the cause and effect, whereas our thoughts are always greed and feeling. Could you talk a little bit more about that cause and effect?
Cause and effect. This is what I have read. I don't experience myself like that. Okay, I'm not an
Good
arahant
enough.
to experience. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I have read and I have seen it's very makes meaning. How the arahants. I forget the long days of the sutta. When they attend dhyana, they don't think I attend the dhyana. They see this cause brought out this effect. When they come out of the dhyana, they don't think I come out of the dhyana. The I-ness is not there. They see the causes that made it happen, and when the causes are no more, that this is not happening. It's nice to think about it also like this. Don't have to be an arahant, but it will make you an arahant if you think like this. So that is a clear picture of what really happens. So they are living in evam pasanyata bhuta. Say, they are seeing things as they are, not deluded. So we are putting this I into it because we have craving and we are muddled. So this inherent nature for long period that create see things as this, like you're really seeing I is so real. For them is not I is real, I think. But at least some glimpses of it will happen even if you enter the path. And you have a clear, that means you should be having a clear idea. You are seeing it, but there are times where you are known that this is really that's the real picture.
Not doing wrong causes, I suppose.
Wrong.
Wrong or harmful causes, because we don't think. For me, I'm thinking I don't think like that. So if I do an action, I don't think it as a cause. I'm sort of, there's so much ego attached to it. But if we take that out, then it's much more clear what you should and shouldn't do.
Mm. Yes. Like when we know it's a cause and effect,
Yeah.
but if you're looking like it's a cause and effect, sometimes you might not see the exact causes or like that, but this is like this behind it. But then it will reduce our ego because we are seeing a picture that mentally we are seeing there's no person. That's why I'm telling like the cause and effect is like there's it has arisen by a cause and this is an effect, and there's no person. When we are in that thought, our delusion is very less. That's why, like, even in metta, when now in my practice, like the Brahmas, when I spread metta, in the recording, I would have done it also, I think. Like, I see already they don't have greed, hate, but they have delusion. So then I picture that if they actually, I had a bad experience as a young boy, like I was challenging the Brahmas. Yeah, like young, when you're young, sometimes you can become very arrogant, like so with my friends, when friends me some spiritual friends also, suddenly I said we should send the message of what conditionality about to these higher worlds, higher deva brahmas. Suddenly I felt, like, because I'm so into it also, I mean it also. In those days also, when I was young, I felt like a terrible, like I left the conversation. I went to some lone place and I did this walking meditation chanting Isibito Gatha, Itibiso Bhagavato Bharato. I was like I'm feeling like I'm going to hell, like, some tremendous heaviness. Then I tell you what happened. Then I happened to encounter the very, as I told you, like I had this connection with the rishis, and I when I met them, I was talking about them, actually thinking about them. We must send this message to them. you know. So I could feel them, my connection with them. They so much love me, and want me to. Maybe they have been my teachers in some words. I don't know. Sure. So what happened? They really want me to really achieve that, but not in an arrogant way. So they taught me a lesson. I think this happened, very interesting experience. I happened to have the encounter with them, and I was actually asking a question to test them also. Like I asked a question, the answer I already know. Okay, so then when I ask a question, when that answer I already know, when they answer, I know that that. So how they immediately answered the question. Said, "Why are you asking this question as if you don't know anything?" But anyway, we will answer you, as they told something, that we. But what the interesting thing they told me was, first they told me, you think you know everything. Because what was the reason? They said this thought also comes because of some past karma. And then they said, well, yeah, anyway, we will answer this question. First they said, why are you asking this question as if you don't know anything? Then they said, you think you know everything. Something like this, I don't know which one came first, but it was very specific at that time. And then I understood, some things we really realize and say, and some things, like sometimes we might, we might think, like, but sometimes nobody looks at us. But luckily, I felt there were some people who really corrected me all the way. I mean, to make it sure that you're not talking. Of course, they will wait. They will even worship after you really achieve all these things. Now, most of us, we are doing all this nonsense, and our talk is about a lot of high philosophy. Okay, but the gods and devas must be laughing at us. What? Yeah, really, not a small joke. And that's why we have to, sometimes we have to be humble. We have to be honest about our this thing. Like sometimes people who criticize about the spiritual paths and all that, they are really corrupt people. They themselves are not. Why are they talking like that or thinking like that? Because they are really against this. They want this to fail. They don't want this spiritual thing. I know one of my uncles, not uncle we call in Sri Lanka, like elderly. They were neighbors and family friends. So like my mother used to go to take seal and all that, and they used to make fun of that, And then finally he get this cancer, and my mother and them are the only ones who are there to take them to some cure or something. So you have to have some compassion. Some people full of materialistic this thing, and what to do? The majority like that, majority in the world. I don't. Yes. No, I wish they are doing that and I can quickly. Now I'm accepting all monasteries. I want monasteries for many people to. No, but I have people coming with problems. Office or something. I am expecting that. I understand. Yeah, I understand. This is very important question. Of course, I saw yesterday last time, but this was the type of practice I also learned when I was a young boy, and it goes on now also. It's not only office or anything. I had to face sometimes the monasteries, like and then sometimes some the organizing things and people and places. So that's why I said the early morning meditation very important routine where you're separate. Your meditation should be to a point where you're experiencing a peace of mind separating from the gross body. If you don't do to that level, you will not have that power to sort of look at it as an observer. You feel tired to do that. Hmm? So I have noticed at least the sense restraint that you don't look. So there are like in the morning when you start like that, when you touch a pure state, okay, then when you go out, sense restraint, all that happens automatically. Its meaning. Okay. But if you go in the other way, when you're down, you are not going sense restraint, you're going the other way. You're trying to see what, this other way. The other way you should turn that 50% you must pass. Hmm? So, and then you must also help yourself not to go to unnecessary places and which you know that you'll be tempted or you will not be able to handle, that you physically try to avoid first initially. But that way you must practice, and then when you have at least spend a day like that, maybe it might sometimes two after this retreat of the 2 days 3 days, then you might get back. That's why you must keep charging yourself. Once a week you should have a special session, or at least once a month. I would suggest, I don't know, I suggest also that if you can have a, like in Sri Lanka, it's going on a silent retreat, who have done already. So they know how to, like read and, to do the walking meditation once a week. If you all can arrange together, if you will have the group power, you get that like-minded all who can do that. If that is, then that is very important. I think in Melbourne it's happening. I don't know. Melbourne, they organize themselves. Something like that maybe, because that one I remember when I was going. So, but retreat also is good. You can shorten it to 3 days, even one day minimum, but don't yeah, even one day retreat, not more less than one day. It's a to make it some like that. I think it then to keep yourself charged by that, and that will be very good. But it should happen. It's no point. I mean, I told you, it's a waste of my energy also. If the power should be there where you really make a change, you can watch, but for that you have to learn to picture the Dhamma more in your mind, and that in the morning at least, or certain time where you don't think about the world, future, what will happen or what has happened, the memories don't come. You're so focused into that, and you see how it happens. I know when husbands have been holding, this lady, she told me her experience that she has been able to see the four elements like that, and then separate it and just not react. That what is inside and outside is, so that thought is so predominant. The husband might think initially that whether she has gone mad or whatever, but I'm sure the husband will start less scolding her because less reaction. And but you should know, you must be honest. Sometimes you're pretending with anger inside. That should not happen. That's like a very, you're being really dishonest. So you must really be open what you really feel. But you should learn to practice that, and it will heal you, and it will really, without talking so many teachings, they will watch, they will notice your change. Not only that, your special aura. This will be very different if someone spent in Gold Coast for 5 days and now they come from a retreat 5 days. Who has some common sense, who has some sense of the thing, they will definitely notice the change. What do you think? Gold Coast, I don't know. I am imagining maybe Gold Coast, maybe, so, I mean, the body, just you can think taking so many drinks so many times, and indulging in so many sensual things. I mean, it should show in the body also. Only that time, maybe some excitement, but I'm sure the person will look quite drained out unless he comes with, he might have a good bath and put some scent and try to make a. So at least those simple benefits, it's a healing process. You're healed your soul. You're healing your life. You're going to be happy just being just empty and simple. You're not dependent on this or that person. That kind of happiness you are going towards more and more. And it's not that real benefit in this very life. I mean, you look quite radiant, actually. All of you all, actually. There's that. I know this in the retreat. It happens. In other words, you're more charming, more handsome, more everything. Yeah, yeah. No joke about it. Like 10 years younger. The wrinkles and all that, or that. Yes, it's a very tangible. Has happened. Not no. Some have come just today, right? So I can't give you that credit. Yeah. Anything else? I think I will have to go for Dana.
Can you please, Bhante, explain on the seven enlightenment factors? The sutta that we read yesterday.
Bojjanga, right?
Yes.
Satta Bojjanga.
Venerable Vendaka. Bojjanga. Oh,
The
yes.
seven enlightened factors.
Yes.
Sati Sambojjanga, Dhamma Vijay Bojjanga.
Yes. Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, when you contemplate, there are sutras like yesterday, the last sutra, okay, where when we experience a pleasant feeling, we know it depends on what? The body, okay? Yeah, it says this feeling depends on what? The body. That's the cause. The body is impermanent, body is conditioned, okay? So you mentally picture how the body, is going to disintegrate. Not a particular body, but any body, any form, any body. So the body is necessary for the feeling, okay? The feeling, the condition for the feeling is the body. The body, then we contemplate that it is nourished by food, is impermanent, so the body has to be impermanent. It's also supported by karma. The karma is impermanent, so the body has to be impermanent. Okay, it's a conditioned thing. So like that, we mentally picture and make an exercise of trying to see that link. Okay, see that connection, that contemplation. So when we try to place that, and we also apply to the present moment of ours. When you try to do that, the present moment we are trying to first focus. When you're trying to be in the present moment first, before we think this also. Okay, that's very important. Before we start to think of this, we learn to put ourselves into the present moment. That is Sati Sambojjhanga. Sati, the first one. Okay, because mindfulness, as well as it is reaching a level of which is necessary for enlightenment. Okay, that's why it's called enlightened factor. Then when we are analyzing this as a cause, and like the feeling is necessary, body is conditioned, and so on, and it's a changing thing, so the feeling has to also finish. Okay, because it depends on a impermanent support. Like that, when we are thinking, contemplating, and then we are sort of to the point where we are letting go, or letting go our clinging, then we feel also immediately a certain lightness. Hmm? You can immediately feel a lightness when you're properly contemplating. We don't feel tired by that contemplation. That is where then this Dhamma Vijay Bojjhanga. Dhamma Vijay Bojjhanga means analyzing the Dhamma. Okay, Bojjhanga means enlightened factor. Okay, then we have after that Piti, and then Passaddhi and all that. These are the effects you get because when you let go, you get that blissfulness, tranquility. Then you become very peaceful, and then you concentrate, means you get that equanimity out of insight. So this is in the right direction of contemplation. So you're already doing that. You have already done in that direction. You get that. Okay, thank you.
Teaching. I think with this retreat, I learned three things. I was very struck by this. I forgot the sutta. He said that a man that was shot by an arrow,
Yeah.
with poison, and then there was someone to help him to get the arrow out,
Yes.
and then he just refused. He said, "Oh, I'm going to search for the person that shot me before I want this arrow to be out of my body."
Yes.
So it just struck me that I'm that man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I have to collect wealth first. I have to take care of my parents first. I have to take care of
very
my
good.
children first. Then I'm going to practice. Yeah, but I was like, oh, I'm this man with the arrow, with the poison, and I still looking around, and I didn't know that my time is ticking. And yeah, so this is like create an urgency. I see the urgency that I have to practice now, not later.
Now means you, while you're with the doing the work of the children, while you're doing with the family, you must not apply that to now let me run away. Okay.
What I mean is that I have to
Yeah.
allocate time.
Definitely. And to master that practice where you're, while you're engaging, you have another brain working. That's a very important thing. Then only you become a super yogi. Like even my teachers, they didn't suddenly, when he was 42, only he became monk. But until then, you're practicing in the worldly environment. They are the ones who become very strong yogis. I'm very happy, even my time I spent in 2 years in office and fulfilling my father's wishes really trained me rather than just going into, then even in cities or anywhere I could practice. Not only the jungle. So now I see many, which looks inspiring from outside, someone living in the jungle. But if you go and personally live alone with that person, you realize he gets angry and, like so many, not properly formed. This I know really. I don't want to disrespect some of the, very thing. But my teacher saw this. My teacher is a very wonderful master, He knew that it has to be an internal journey and it has to be, he was really very, very super. I wish everybody got the chance to know him more. But at least you know the path. But that arrow example, where was it? I can't. It was there in one of maybe. I can't remember where in these sections. I don't know. Maybe it's there. Okay, okay. But yeah, it's good. It's actually about talking about considering what's the beginning of the world and all that. Why the answer, what was there. So Buddha says immediately this life is there. That's why he's focusing on not only also rebirth or even afterlife. He talks about now you see old age and death. Like that, he takes immediate facts and do the practice. So that's very important. I think you must master that, and then. So I I remember one story when I was a young boy, or in the international school those days. So some things I was very very careful. I don't know, out of previous lives or like regarding my morality in the school. Our schools, it was terrible. You see, it was like everybody they like after 16, 17, they are like their morals are terrible. So I used to do everything, sports and mingle with all the students and all that. But they noticed that I am this thing I'm keeping away. So one day, one of them asked me, and it's very interesting. They don't ask me directly because I had some. They because of practicing this, I saw I had some power, and people don't like to approach me. They had some respect, even those children. I mean, my friends. And so they asked indirectly, they asked, doesn't Shanaka like to enjoy life? They thought I'm not like I'm giving up an enjoyment. Then I told them, those days I don't know Arahant or this and that, but I knew there's some perfect state. I said, until I know the world, I will not play with it. That's what I told them. And I had in my mind that there is such perfect state of knowing everything in this world. And when I come to that, then I will do all other things. so, so I don't know. It was there in my subconscious. I had no idea. I didn't know Tum Sutra or nothing. I didn't know by that time. Just, mm, like we know, maybe Buddha Sarnangachami like this, I would have known. So it's better to master this, as I told you, no self for. But initial right view is necessary. Buddha says regarding about previous lives, karma, and the danger of sensuality and the benefits of removing the sensual. This thing you get a sharper mind and all that. These things are basic, and mother, father is true. Like this, they are called the worldly right view. If you to appreciate the you could say the super mundane what is this right view, you must have that basis too, because it's not just to become calm or peaceful. It's not like that. It's based on a broad deep structure what the world is, the universe is, and it's not just this life suffering. It's the thing of being born again and again. But those things also you must find proper proof, not in the idea of you can't be very skeptical and research. You must be really middle, and then find facts that prove, like even reincarnation, stories. But I think the very nice one is Edgar Casey many mentions. This is a very good one, because that is like, who is really open can see, what this person doesn't know anything about it. He goes to unconscious state, and it tallies with the present scenario, because the medicine they give, and the explanation of the person's inner character very much match with the what he explains what happened in previous lives. That's it's very nice, very interesting.
Because always I can see that everyone says, oh, we have to get liberated. And always I was asked by my friends, are you ready, or do you want to get liberated? And I was like, I told them I can't answer because I don't know the way. I have all the books on my bookshelf, but I don't know. I don't know where to go.
Where to start?
I don't know how to cross the ocean. But with the retreat, I think I can see the roadmap.
Correct. I'm very happy.
Meditation, contemplating about words of Buddha. I can see slowly that go to the path.
This roadmap you got from my master.
Yes.
It's not me. I also didn't know this whole way of. So you give him some. I don't think he needs merits, but be grateful to him. I'm sure. He's the one. I didn't know this. Because for years they have practiced, and he was a practitioner, not going and teaching anyone, not doing anything like that, or every day going arms round like in the olden times. No, from the like we now. I also not doing it, but generally we have like I call them the domestic. Now we have like domesticated this thing, but it's not nice word to use. But so he was like really not only just ascetic life, but he was also had knowledge. So his teachers also like that, but he was like fully to the end of his life he was living that. Other his teachers like Gnanaloka, they made places and so on. I hope it will not happen to me. I have made the trust. They are the ones who will be doing some of them. They are the ones who have to, because I also want to at least follow something of him, even externally, hopefully.
Meditation, and I couldn't, because I don't know how to meditate. Because I was told to just observe your breathing, and very fast, very soon, my mind just running around. And then so this morning I was telling myself, this is the last day. I probably have to put more effort.
Very good.
And this morning I was like feeling my legs numb, very numb, my back very aching. Like this is not my body, this is not my feeling. And really, I can just
Very good.
yeah,
Correct.
I can't feel the pain,
Correct.
and I can just concentrate on my.
It's very simple, very true, very right.
Yeah, so I'm grateful about this.
Mhm.
And then the third one is like we were talking about the ocean, and I always thought it's very difficult to cross the ocean to the enlightenment. I think thank you Bante for giving us this vehicle as, by meditating and contemplating all this. But Bante is providing us a vehicle. And then I just realized the ocean is not outside ocean. It's the ocean of our eyes, our ears, our nose,
Very good.
our body, and our consciousness. So thank you, Bante.
The definition of the Buddha of the universe or the world is the six sense organs. It's not the earth or anything. It's based on consciousness. Consciousness is where the world arises according to the enlightened beings. So they are not studying it like out like that. They say, for example, it's like you can, it's like, you can, nowadays when I remove this, I can't, it's good not to see anyone. Like, if like, for example, you can, like you can put your finger below the eyeball here. And while you're looking, if you shake like that, do you see things shaking? Or just push it up? I can see the cross like going like that. So this is one way to remind that the world is not there, it is here. So this because sometimes we are so thinking, they're so far here, but it's the consciousness, that is very important. So that is a very wise, broad, deep way of knowing that's why Buddha tells how to go to the end of the world is also in the meditation. You go to the end of your consciousness through wisdom and
And then volunteer to make this happen. And then they're really very thoughtful and very caring.
they're like great angels,
Yeah, very angels.
with all their
From the
other
heaven.
problems, difficulties, but their spirit is so high. I know. They are getting, I'm too, I'm not sometimes aware, but I know I don't have to tell or do anything. They be automatic. They also know they are doing it in something, another world, in everywhere, in Sri Lanka, everywhere. It's like someone, you really love, they don't have to say, I love you, right? The love is automatically there. It is coming naturally. They're already dedicated. In Sri Lanka, also some of them never meet me, say me, but they're doing the thing. So some are like they're like looking like they're doing something, but they're not doing anything. So this all things are happening. So, but all of them will get some blessings. Some have got some into problem also. I got to her. So it's very interesting, It's very interesting because this is also devas and brahmas are involved in this, and sometimes some I would say even some spirits, angels who are protecting and all that. Maybe they are not too tolerant as normal people or the higher beings. So suddenly some unusual experiences might happen too. I got to know something, like someone had to stay in hospital for so long. Um, but he has been involved in something and now he's barely recovering or something like that. So, but I think of definitely anyone getting involved in this, they should have a lot of compassion and patience with every living being. Think of one is also not perfect. So make sure they are all our brothers and our children, I hope that spirit will go with everybody, not to be critical or,